Welcome to Parev TV. Today we are excited and honored to have with us two dynamic ladies from Armenia. Their names are Sona Bagdasaryan and Narine Galstian. They represent a foundation in Armenia, a foundation I've heard nothing about till very recently, and many of us have not heard it, and that's the idea of this interview, to get us to know more about the foundations, the IFS, that's the Insurance Foundation for Servicemen. Lately, the name has been changed to 1,000 plus, and we'll learn more about that. Um, Sona and Narina, I understand your mission here in America. This is a multi-city tour you're going through this big country. And your mission is not to ask for donations. Your mission is to really get the foundation better known among us in the diaspora. I don't know if you visited what states you visited, maybe you can tell us. But, after the 44-day war, as we all know, and we should stress, because your work relates to the wounded soldiers, Armenia lost over 4,000 servicemen. Quite a few hundred of them are still missing, and we had over 11,000 servicemen who are wounded and sick, who need special attention and support, obviously. One thing as I was reading about you, one thing, Sona, in the interviews, you've mentioned that your foundation, your story is a national success story. Why do you think this is a national success story? And what can you tell us about your work?
Good morning, Artan. Thank you for hosting Nine and myself on Parev TV.
Good morning.
Um, we are currently in New York, and as you mentioned, we are on a multi-city tour of meeting the Armenian communities in the United States. So I will start from the beginning and answer your question about why we think we are a success story. IFS, the Insurance Foundation for Servicemen, was created in 2017 in the aftermath of the four-day war in 2016. It was created by a group of volunteers and well-wishers who visited all the families of the 100 fallen heroes and realized two things. A, these people needed support, financial support, because they had lost a breadwinner or someone who would support the family in the future. And most importantly, these families needed recognition. They needed to feel that their sacrifice was not lost on the nation, that the Armenians in Armenia and also abroad realized what a huge sacrifice they had made and would take care of them in their own way. So that is how the idea of the Insurance Foundation for Servicemen came up. And it was started by someone who was the general counsel of the central bank at that time, Varujan Avedikian, and he, being a lawyer and someone who'd worked in the financial sector and Westernly educated, came up with the idea of a life insurance model where these families, these soldiers would be supported for a very long time, 20 years, which would allow them to have a dignified future in Armenia and Artsakh. So a law was written, and the central bank governor and the board supported the initiative and said if the law is passed by parliament, the central bank will support the first 5 years of IFS. So a law was passed and IFS was created. We are a congressionally chartered private nonprofit, like the National Broadcasting Company here in the United States. Mm-hmm. We have a congressional charter, so it means we can collect mandatory employee contributions from everyone who pays taxes in Armenia. But at the same time, we're not governed, supervised, or financed by the government. We are self-financed, we raise our own funds, and we have a board who manages us strategically. So IFS was created, and between 2017 and 2020, it was an important stage of setting up, building infrastructure, but it was still run by a small group of volunteers, people who dedicated their time, expertise, and willingness to help to IFS. As you said, the war changed everything. Before the war, we had 417 cases. As of today, we have 4,000 509 cases, and that includes severely wounded soldiers who've acquired first or second degree disability. It includes the families of fallen heroes and also servicemen who are missing in action or
Mhm.
missing due to war. So now we have 4,509 cases. So our liabilities and caseload grew tenfold. That is why we are on this grand tour of the Armenian communities in the United States, trying to spread the word about what IFS does and why it's so important that we take care of these servicemen and families now, not 10 years from now or 50 years from now. So the urgency, I believe, is one of the most important messages we're trying to give.
Narine, you are the head of the PR, and you have done a great job with all the beautiful images of the soldiers leaving home, going to the front, mothers crying, etc. But one of the images had to do with the top three donors, and I believe the numbers are like 69 or 70% of the money is coming from Armenian citizens,
Absolutely.
9% from Russia, and 8 or 9% from America. How do you account to that?
That's true that you rose this question. It's absolutely interesting for us to view these statistics, but that's the reality that in addition to the mandatory payments that every employee in Armenia and Artsakh pays every month from their salary, which prior to war was 1,000 Armenian drams, which is equal to $2, they also make the biggest chunk of contribution to our voluntary donations. And actually, starting from its inception in 2017, IFS has raised 22.8 million US dollars, and about 22 million of these contributions have been raised after the war, like starting the war and after the war, when people were eager to do something and everyone wanted to have his or her contribution in the protection of the homeland or doing something good. Yes, that's true that 70% of this 22.8 million US dollars raised come from Armenia. Armenia is our biggest donor. Maybe that's subjectively, in my opinion, subjectively, because these people live in Armenia and they see, they live what is going on there. Maybe that's one of the reasons that they contribute to a lot. And as you said, yes, Russia is our second biggest donor with 8.6% of contributions, and the United States of America is our third biggest donor with 8.2%. We do have contributions and donations from Europe as well, and Germany is number one in the European region.
So when we hear of supporting soldiers and the needy, what comes to mind are two noble organizations, the Armenian Wounded Heroes Fund and Friends of Armenian Soldier and Family, and similar organizations. What is your relationship to these organizations, and how do you differ from these organizations?
Thank you for the question, Vartan. It's very important that people understand what is our relationship to Armenian Wounded Heroes and FASF. Armenian Wounded Heroes has been our long-time and very trusted partner in the United States. They reached out to us during the war, and since our missions coincide, they have been helping us raise and channel tax-deductible donations from the United States to Armenia and IFS. So what we've partnered with Wounded Heroes was the possibility for U.S. donors to be able to deduct their donations to IFS through Wounded Heroes. They've even created a special landing page on their website where you can go on and do a one-time donation or subscribe to a monthly donation through their website, and it reaches us 100%, and they are also able to deduct those from their taxes. FASF was created by our board member, Adam Kaplanian, who's from the Bay Area, and he's on our board, on IFS board, and it has the same mission to provide tax-deductible donation channel for the Armenians, also concentrating on the West Coast because that is where Adam comes from. That's where his community network are. So they, at this point in time, we are the only grantee for FASF, and every donation made to FASF is eventually transferred to IFS, and people have the opportunity to do tax deductions.
You speak about mandatory contribution of $3 a month. Is there, I know there are many organizations in America who also have a fixed amount deducted from their paycheck for whatever charitable organization. I think it's very difficult to bring that program into the American world, but what are the chances of you creating some type of a mechanism to have us $10 a month deducted for IFS?
Well, honestly, that is why we are here. That is our ultimate goal.
That's a
to
major
make
one.
sure to make sure that the diaspora is engaged. Why? Because we think that our boys, our men and women on the front line, they do their part. You know, they take up
Mhm.
arms and they protect us, often at the expense of their life and health. Armenians in Armenia and Artsakh do their part by paying mandatory contributions, giving their sons and fathers and loved ones, and also participating in voluntary donations. So we come with a message that we think this is our duty as Armenians in Armenia and worldwide to help support these families. And we are hoping that after trust building and
Mm.
creating local networks in all the Armenian communities here, we'll be able to launch a campaign that will replicate the mandatory contributions we have in Armenia. So every diasporan Armenian will realize it is our duty as Armenians to contribute to IFS and to make sure we have a safe homeland. And it doesn't have to be a large amount. $30, $50 a month can take you a very long way. And you asked the question, you mentioned about our name. We are officially called the Insurance Foundation for Servicemen, but a popular name, Thousand Plus, stuck. Why? Because in the beginning, before the war, it was 1,000 drams, which is $2. And the idea was that with your little contribution of 1,000 drams, there is so much more that you actually create as a nation. Collectively, it's a synergy of little 1,000 drams coming together and raising tens of millions of dollars. That is why the popular name Thousand Plus stuck, and our website is thousandplus.am.
Yeah, we spoke about the Armenian Wounded Heroes Fund and the Friends of Armenian Soldier and Family as a channel for tax deductible donations for our US compatriots, but we do have also very easy way of making a $10 or $20 or $50 donation via our website, which is 1000plus.am. You can just visit the website, click on the donate button, and just enter very few details. Believe me, it will take you about less than a minute, and you can subscribe to monthly donations. We're very transparent, and every dollar you donate is automatically populated on the website, so you see the name of the person, the amount that was donated, and it's donated every month, and then you see the date when the donation was first done, and then continuously every month. So every penny does count for us. And the same way, because I spoke about the transparency, let me continue the topic. And every beneficiary that we have, every family that we support is actually on our website as well. You can see the name of the person who is our beneficiary, the date of his birth or her birth, when the case or the casualty happened, his military rank, how much money he has received from the foundation, and what's the monthly payment due for 20 years, because we support those families not only one time. We do provide the lump sum amount upfront, which is equal to 10 million Armenian drams, or it's equivalent as 20,000 US dollars. And then for 20 years, every month, we support these families in the amount of from 200 to 800, and it depends, the range depends on the military rank of a person and how many minor children or kids are in the family. If he has 3+ kids, then he receives additional $200 every month.
Now,
So
Renee,
what we do is a long-term support. It's very sustainable, and we do take care that these families, after having the ultimate sacrifice of loss or injury of a family member, do have a bit more comfortable life.
Now, Renee, you have with Sona visited some other states. What states have you visited? What was the experience like, and what other places are you planning to go next?
Yeah, in the realm of this diaspora outreach, awareness building, and trust building, or as we call it, friend building campaign, we have visited Washington. It's actually the place where we launched this campaign, where we started this program, this tour. Then we were in Philadelphia. Now we're in New York City. We're going to head to Boston, Detroit, Chicago, and then in California, we're going to visit LA, San Francisco, and Fresno. We have it's about 9 to 10 cities that we're visiting, and it's a big and a bit tiring, yeah, as well for us, because we have a short, like 4 to 5 days per city. We have been warmly welcomed by all community members that we visited so far. We try to get, as I say, we try to get the most out of this tour and have as many visits with the communities, with different organizations, with different bodies that will also help us in future. It's not just one-time visit that we're having with people, with communities, but we're trying to build network here.
Mhm. So now, we're talking about the foundation. I think it's equally important that we get to know you two. Give us your background. I know you studied in America. You have a law degree from Boston. Tell us something about yourself, quickly.
Sure. I think our stories are very interestingly intertwined with the foundation, because before the war, it was run by a group of very enthusiastic volunteers. But unfortunately, after the war, we realized we cannot service 5,000 cases with a group of volunteers. We need a dedicated team working longer hours than very many people in Armenia, and some people even in the US. And so a team was put together, and the team, the most of the team looks like us. So those are young ladies. We do have representatives of the stronger sex with us, but mostly the team is ladies. I personally was involved with the foundation through Varujan and through the central bank. I was born and raised in Armenia, but my father comes from the northern regions of Artsakh, which have been occupied by Azerbaijan for the last 30 years. And on my mom's side, we're diasporan Armenians. So my grandfather and grandmother repatriated back to Armenia in 1947 with a large wave of repatriants. They're originally from Sis and Kilis, but they moved from Lebanon and Aleppo. So my mom was born in Yerevan, but culture-wise, food-wise, communication-wise, very often we consider ourselves diasporan. And I was born and raised in Yerevan. In high school, I spent a year here in South Jersey with a fantastic Armenian family by accident, because there's a federal exchange program that brings ex-CIS kids to American high schools to experience the cultural experience of living in an American family. My luck, I ended up with a nice Armenian family, and we're still in touch, and their children are in Armenia right now. Their son wants to move to Armenia and stay there. So then I went back to Armenia. I studied at the French University in Armenia. I have a law degree in international business law. And in 2011, all through these years, I worked for the legal department of the central bank. And in 2011, I came back again, already with my husband. We came back to Boston, and we did an LLM in financial banking law. It was a one-year LLM. And the idea was to come study and go back. So we returned back, and I went back to my job at the central bank. I've done different roles. I've lived in different cities of Armenia. I've lived in Dilijan, because the central bank has a center there. So Um, in 2019, before the COVID war,
Mm.
the chaos broke out, our third son was born. So I decided I'm not going back to a very long office hours. I didn't know then, I didn't know well that this is going to happen to me.
10 plus office hours.
10 plus office hours, yes. So I quit and I decided I wanted to do something else with my life. Then COVID started and the war started, and I have a younger brother, and he was on the front line for 45 days in Artsakh. So, as we mentioned, the war was so large that it entered every single family. Thankfully, my
Mm.
brother is safe, but a lot of families can't say the same. So, it impacted every single one of us. And Varujan called me up one day after New Year, and he said, "What are you doing with your life?" I said, "Well, I don't know. I'm suffering, trying to understand how we go on after this loss of
Mm.
lives and land and hope." And he said, "Well, why don't you come join the foundation?" I said, "I don't want to do legal work anymore." He said, "Well, you're not going to do legal work. You're going to do people's work." And so I'm here in charge of development and outreach, and it has been one of the most rewarding experiences of my life because we don't take up arms and go fight, but we
That's our
do
way of
our own fight.
supporting.
Narine will tell her story.
Narina, tell us about your exciting life.
Yeah, I was born and raised in Armenia, but my grandparents, actually, my roots come from Kars, from mother's side and father's side too. From my father's side, the grandparents landed in Gyumri after 1915, and hence my surname Galust. So as they landed, people
Oh,
there called them Galust, and my surname is Galestian.
understood.
I joined the foundation as a volunteer during the war because, like every Armenian, I wanted to do something good. As soon as that, I couldn't take up arms and go to the front, but I had the inner call that I should do something and support
Mm.
the way I can. So there was an announcement on the Facebook page of IFS that they needed a social media specialist. And back at that time, I was managing the marketing team of European fintech company. But I quit there. I joined the Insurance Foundation for Servicemen and worked there for about 3 months on voluntary basis. Then end of February, beginning of March, as they were shaping the team, they made me an offer, which I happily accepted, and I'm doing my best to serve this most honorable mission that IFS carries out.
You know, there is so much we could discuss with you. You're so passionate about what you're doing. You're so
That's enough.
dedicated. Uh, you're so, and also very able. I introduced you as dynamic individuals. You truly are dynamic. And when I was one time in Armenia some time ago, I I met a young lady and I asked her, "What is it you would like me to tell American Armenians?" And she said, "Go and tell them that Armenia today is not your grandma's Armenia. It's a strong, vibrant Armenia with very, very dedicated, strong characters, individuals coming to the on stage, people like you who are making a difference. And the fact that you communicate so beautifully in English, and intentionally we went with the English so that the English speakers will understand you and also participate in this venture, because it's a very important that you make yourself clearly understood by the local community. If it's in France, I hope somebody who knows French will go there and talk to them. But what I want to do is, I cannot close this without Mikani Parero հայերենով պետք է խոսենք եւ չեմ ուզեր գրկնել այնպես որ ցերկլխավոր պատկամը սոնա ինչ է որովհետեւ այս անգամ տրամահավաքի հարց չէ այստեղը այլ ցանոթանալու իրար եւ ինչպես կրնակ ցանոթացնել ձեր անձը մեր քաղաքին ինչ է որ գուզեի գիտնա մեր քաղաքի ձեր մասին
Շնորհակալ եմ Վարդան, մենք շատ կարևորում ենք, որպեսզի հայկական համայնքները ամբողջ աշխարհում եւ հատկապես Միացյալ Նահանգներում ճանաչեն մեզ որպեսի հասկանան ով ենք մենք, որն է մեր պատմությունը։ Դուք ասեցիք, որ մենք այո, մեզ համարում ենք հաջողության պատմությունը, success story, որովհետև կարծում եմ վերջի մի քանի տասնամյակների մեջ շատ քիչ են եղել Հայաստանի ստեղծված եւ Հայաստանում ներդրված մոդելներ, որոնք իրոք աշխատում են։ Այսինքն մենք չունենք թափանցիկության եւ հաշվետվողականության խնդիր։ Մենք անկախ ենք, մենք պրոֆեսիոնալ ենք, մենք չունենք քաղաքական ճնշումներ, մենք չունենք քաղաքական աջենդա եւ շատ կարեւոր է մեզ համար այդ մեսիջը փոխանցել համայնքներին, ասելով որ այս կառույցը ստեղծվել է Հայաստանում, ֆինանսավորվում է հիմնականում հայաստանցիների կողմից, մեր խորհուրդը կազմված է սփյուռքահայերից, Միացյալ Նահանգներից, Մեծ Բրիտանիայից, Ռուսաստանից, բայց սա Հայաստանի համար կարևոր պատմություն է, որ պետք է դուրս գա Հայաստանի սահմանից։ Եվ մարդիկ պետք է տեսնեն, որ պատերազմի նման արհավիրքից ծնվել է հույսի եւ ապագային ձգտող մի ծրագիր, մի կազմակերպություն, որ հնարավորություն ունեք փոքր ներդրումով եւ հարցեր տալով եւ հետաքրքրված լինելով շատ կարևոր մեծ գործին մասնակցել, որովհետեւ այն ընտանիքներն ու տղաները, ում մենք աջակցում ենք, իրենք են Հայաստանը անվտանգ պահողները։ Եվ եթե իրենք Հայաստանում գնահատված չլինեն, եւ եթե նրանց երեխաները անօթի լինեն, մենք ուժեղ Հայաստան չենք ունենալու։ Մենք պետք է վստահ լինենք, որ իրենք մնում են Հայաստանում եւ գնահատված են զգում, եւ նրանց հաջորդ երեխաներն էլ են գնալու մեր բանակ։ Նրանց հաջորդ տղաներն էլ են գնալու պաշտպանելու մեր երկիրը, եւ մենք պետք է մեր ձևով օժանդակություն ցույցաբերենք եւ նեցուկ լինենք այդ ընտանիքներին։
Նարինե միցեր կորձերը մին սածիս պես բադգերմն է և գուզեմ շեշտել մեկ բադգերմը, ուր գսե զինվորը կամ երդասարտը գսե կնում եմ իմ բարկը գադարելու իմ հայրենիքիս։ Ինչ է ծեր խոսքը մեր կաղութին։
Ճիշտ վերջբերում արեցիք, ճիշտ դիտարկում արեցիք, ուզում եմ ասել, որ այդ տղերքից յուրաքանչյուրը, ովքեր զոհվել կամ վիրավորվել են, հաշմանդամության կարգ են ձեռք բերել, իրենց ամենաթանկն են զոհաբերել։ Կյանք ու առողջություն այսօր բոլորիս համար առաջնային է։ Եվ որպես ազգ, լինի դա հայաստանցի, Հայաստանում բնակվող, Սփյուռքում բնակվող, մեր բոլորիս յուրաքանչյուրիս համախմբված ազգային պարտքն է տեր կանգնենք այդ տղերքին ու նրանց ընտանիքներին, ովքեր զոհաբերել են այդ ամենաթանկը, կյանքը ու առողջությունը, որովհետև զոհաբերել են ինձ համար, Սոնայի համար, զոհաբերել են ձեզ համար, նաև սփյուռքահայության համար, որ ունենանք հայրենիք։ Հետևաբար մենք չենք կարող թողնել անուշադրության մատնել, այսպես ասեմ, այդ ընտանիքներին, առնվազն ֆինանսապես մի փոքր ավելի բարեկեցիկ կյանքով պետք է ապրեն եւ մենք պետք է դա կատարենք համատեղ։
Պագման խոսք Սոնա, հետո պագման խոսք Նարինե, որովհետև ասի գրնանք շարունակել երկար ժամանակ։ Ինչ ծեր պագման խոսքը անգլերենով թե հայերով ինչոս կուզեք։
In summary of all this, what we want to say is get to know us better. It is important that the community understand who we are and what we do. And when you get to know us better, I'm sure you will trust us. And I am sure you will help us by spreading the word about us. Tell your friends, tell your family members, tell your church community, the parents in your children's school, your colleagues who might not even be Armenian, but tell about us, spread the word, and also it's very important that you advocate for us because there is a lot of misinformation and negativity in the media now regarding Armenia. And it is very important that people understand that Armenia still lives on. We are strong. We are going to continue, but we do need a lot of aid from the communities, also on the PR and media war front. And importantly, talk about us, educate yourself, spread the stories of our beneficiaries. You can encounter them on our social media, and these are men and families who tell their stories firsthand. And donate to us. A monthly donation of as little as $30 a month will get you a very long way. It will create sustainable financing for our servicemen and their families who, again, made the ultimate sacrifice.
Narine, closing remarks?
Yeah, just follow us. To get to know us, actually, follow us on all our digital platforms, on social media. We're almost everywhere. We have a nice website. Visit us from time to time. And just want to say that the life of every soldier continues in his family. Actually, we have this ամեն հերոսի կյանքը իր ընտանիքում է շարունակում եւ մենք պետք է հոգ տանենք, որ նրանք բարեկեցիկ լինեն. Actually, that's it on my side. And thank you. Thank you for this opportunity, for creating this platform for us to talk with the community and with wider audience.
Sona and Narine, I hope to meet you in person very soon sometime. And I'd like to wish you all the best. You're both very, very good ambassadors of Armenia. The needs of Armenia are very well known to the diaspora, whether it is wounded soldiers, whether it's COVID cases, whether it's the economy, whether it's the politics, which we are following very closely these days. And on my behalf, and I'm sure on behalf of many in the community, I'd like to wish you all the best. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much for all
Thank you,
do.
and we will keep in touch.
Absolutely.
And hopefully meet in Armenia.